I just find a way to throw something different in they don't expect every day.
Okay. That's cool. Karen.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you specifically, you seem to have a bit of a routine in terms of like you do the window walk type like that every day kind of thing. Like, are there certain things you're doing every day?
It's not every day. It was a posted schedule. It's about once a week or once every 5 days. There's a different window walk. So that kind of gives us a day of an activity to create whatever it is they're doing. Like silly faces. So that's a day of painting and whatever. And then we hang up. Thank you, Ryder. But someone had gone around the neighborhood in addition to that and did a community, like right in Cornell, scavenger hunt, where it's like, go to 256 Walkerville, what animal is on their step, right? And so that's something that every parent can do. They can make it their own. Again, it's like a don't touch whatever. We need to be outside, and unfortunately, so does everybody else.
Right.
So it's hard, and especially for the little ones to not run out to their friends, because we can see the school from our house. So they're so close. Like all the school friends live so close.
Yeah.
So we just ran into them, but they're actually doing really well. I'm actually worried the other way because I have one that is ASC and is going to have a hard time going back to the norm, because this is great.
Okay.
This is 24 hours a day of mom and whoever. And so he's not having an issue this way, but he'll have an issue the other way. And the other one like wants to FaceTime with her friends all day, and she's 5.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Right.
So we do a share chair like they do in school. Jordan does a share chair about every couple of days with one of her friends, and they talk about something they've done, and it's totally chaotic and ridiculous and silly, and often doesn't work out, but the kids get very excited about it.
That sounds like school, actually. I have a great idea. This is going to be perfect. And it's chaotic and ridiculous. And then later you're like, oh, that actually worked out okay, though. Because you have to figure out what was your purpose in doing it. You just want them to talk about something. Well, did they? Then success. Like, it doesn't have to look a certain way for it to be valuable or meaningful. I believe. And the more you realize that and embrace that idea, the less stressed out you're going to feel about what you're getting done in a day, because it doesn't have to look like anything. It just has to work for you.
We're getting nothing done in a day.
Nice. But yet you are. I think that's another thing as parents or caretakers, you should, at the end of the day, you know how we do gratitude journals, like in the morning, like I'm grateful for, yeah. But if you actually take the time at the end of the day to just go through some of the things you did, you'll realize you actually accomplished a lot. Like it's not what you might do on a regular day, like at school, or what some of our spouses or we might accomplish at work, but you've accomplished something, right? We got outside. We had 3 meals together. We each talked about something that interested in us. We did something artsy. We did something scholarly. We read, whatever. Like, that's a lot to accomplish in a day. So don't think of it as, because I can easily look around and go, wow, we did nothing today. But really, we did a lot. And, don't be so hard on yourself. I think that's the message. I think everyone that has school-age kids probably have heard something from the school, either the teacher or the school board in some way, knowing that there's going to be a little bit more structured learning hopefully happening starting next week.
We're making all our calls this week. So by the end of the week, you should hear.
So I know.
What are we hearing at the end of the week?
You'll hear from your son's teacher. At least his homeroom teacher will contact you. Either by phone or I got an email from one of them, and then the other one phoned me. So that was interesting.
Yeah, the resource teacher called yesterday.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, because this is definitely new for everybody. And we'll see what it looks like. I'm personally kind of excited to have something structured and planned, not by me. They might have a little more buy-in because it's from the school. Like, we have these discussions and I'll say, we're doing this. And I get, no. And I said, do speak to your teacher like that? Oh, you're not my teacher. Like, but I'm
Say
supposed to be scarier. Like, I'm your mom. Come on, give me something. But no, nothing. So the fact that it's coming from the school is going to help for those of us that have reluctant students at home, because I know I certainly do.
You just shouldn't
And it's not a huge amount of work that's going to be covered or need to be addressed. I know for the older kids, so Deb, Ethan's in grade 8, right? Was it like 2 to 3, Andrea, correct me if I'm wrong, like a couple hours a day, 2 to 3 hours a day worth of
I think it's 1 hour from
Uh-huh.
kindergarten up to grade 5, and then
Okay.
2 hours, 6 to 8,
Okay.
I believe.
But does that mean in-person interface talking with
I
the
hope
kids or no?
not.
Oh,
I hope
I
not.
believe so. The problem, I think, is that we don't all have the same access to that technology. So they want to make sure every
Equity.
kid has something that they can get onto in terms of a device with
Yeah.
access to internet. And there will be various ways that you'll receive the information. I know our teachers doing something through, we have like Google Classroom. Some of you have probably seen that.
Yeah.
One of them's using that. Another one is using the school website, which allows them to post information. So we're just going to go there. We're going to see what the questions are she has to work on, for example, copy and paste it into a document, and then send it back to the teacher. So there isn't, it's helpful because it allows flexibility when they're going to do this work, because what's best for your child. Is it first thing in the morning? Is it the afternoon? Is it lunchtime? I don't know. You don't have to be at the computer at a certain time of the day. So I think that's good for some of us.
Yeah.
I have
For the students is optional also.
What's
Like
that?
it's optional really. Like a lot of the they can't really like assess everything. I don't know as far as I heard. Like
I'm sorry, I have one of the boys here, my neighbor. He is in grade 5. So started Monday, this past Monday at 9 o'clock. His teacher is in this group setting with their students. So for about an hour to an hour and a half, they have their session. And he's assigned things to do. Then at 2 o'clock, he has to go back and then he has the one-on-one with the teacher.
Oh, that's
Wow.
interesting. And is that in Peel District, Jana?
Yes, yes, it is Catholic school.
Okay.
So I think, if I'm correct, Dylan, he has a session with the teacher, and then the other kids are all on the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And my teacher changed it to 12
Oh,
o'clock.
apparently his teacher has changed it. To what time now? 12. Well, it's 12:15.
You're late for school, bud. Okay, that's funny.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So I haven't heard of any other boards, or especially not around here, doing something like that, because we aren't allowed in our board to use Zoom as a school tool. There's only certain schools that are approved at the moment. So that's not one of them. So it's unfortunate, because I think the interaction with other kids would be great for some of our kids. But at the same time, I mean, this is, like I said, it's all new. Everyone's figuring out how to become I guess, a virtual teacher and an online learner, and it's going to take a little bit of time. So last time we had shared a bunch of different resources, like online sites that were kind of cool and engaging and helpful. And I didn't do a really good job of collecting them all in one place and then sharing them. So I think what I'll do today is I have a bunch, and if you guys have any suggestions you want to add, I'll just put them into the what was on Facebook for this session. I'll just make a comment and I'll just list a whole bunch of websites. But there is something I was thinking about, Deb, that would be good for Ethan's age, because it's harder, I think, with the intermediate age kids. The younger kids are really easy to engage with little activities. I know Kieran is super motivated by something that, it doesn't matter what it is, math, you finish something, you get like a star, and the stars accumulate. Like Andrea, we were talking about that earlier. He loves that. It's like he got points, and then maybe he gets to get a new avatar, like just little things like that. really make him excited. So I think that for intermediate kids, I was thinking like, what's something that might be engaging to them? So there's something that some teachers do at school called a genius hour. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but the gist, and I won't explain it very well, but the gist of it is that kids are given the opportunity to choose a topic that's of interest to them, and they can become like a subject matter expert kind of thing. And then they have to share what they've learned with everybody. So at school, it could be, I've seen anything from they wanted to learn about, you know, the Beatles and their music, to they wanted to learn how to play an instrument. Like it could be anything. And they spend their time researching it, learning, figuring it out, and then they will come back and share it. So I was just thinking like on my own, like how could this apply, and what age group would that be good for? And what could you do to extend it? And I like the idea of also giving them the challenge of finding, like learning a new skill. Like, is there something that they've always wanted to do, or you don't even know, ask them, that they could then spend some time learning, but not from you teaching them? Because the thing with me is I'm like, oh guys, you've always wanted to do this. Let's go here and draw it together. And it's like, I'm doing all this stuff too. And it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. That's too much parent-led and too much teacher-led. To give them some independence, you have to let them maybe choose something that they're interested in. And it could be how to do a specific move. I don't know if this will scare everyone, like with their skateboard, like, I don't know, just something that they can practice and do a little bit of research on. So I know here we're looking at, well, what could we maybe plant in our garden that would work with the space we have and the animals that we have that come and eat our stuff. We've given that to Sienna, like, you go do some research, you figure out what vegetables or fruits we could actually grow here. And then maybe we'll plant a garden. And I say maybe because it's on me to go get the stuff and do it. And
this sounds like the perfect time to get the perfect time to get the chicken coop, Sommer.
Thank you. I'm glad I have this on speaker on my earphones and no one else can hear that. My husband wanted to get chickens a few years ago, and it's been this joke forever since. But now I'm thinking that would have come in handy because we go through a lot of eggs. But anyway, I won't repeat that again. So I like that idea. I don't know if anyone like Deb, if you think that might be a bad idea for Ethan, just like an independent study project. Where they are given the independence, because everything you're doing that requires them, like I said last time, making recipes, making slime if your kids are younger, like following the recipe to make it. You are reading, you're communicating, like you're always including a lot of different, strands of language in it. And the interpersonal part, like working with, if you have other kids at home or even with you, like that is sort of like a vital life skill as well. I think that we can give them super valuable life experiences at home that have nothing to do with like necessarily the Ontario curriculum, but just like stuff. Like Sienna the other day she wants to paint the outside of her, the things that go on the plate on your light switch. And I said, okay. Just looking at me, I'm like, well, so she found a screwdriver, she took it off, she brought it down, she pulled out the paint, she painted it, she dried it, she put it back up. And I was like, it doesn't seem like, it's not rocket science, but it's like being independent, it's taking initiative. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm gonna go, hey, successful day. And I didn't have to do anything because by the time I turned around, she was finished. So I think that might be something to consider as being valuable stuff that you have going on at home.
I want them to learn life skills as well.
Yeah.
Again, the oldest one here is 10. His responsibility was making soup. He had to use a can opener. He made the soup. They set the table. When they're done eating, they have to wash. We out walking around. Riley already knows because something we talk about. Why are those leaves are up in the tree? So they're learning. It's a squirrel's nest. I'm a person. Let's learn about your everyday things in your home as well as the neighborhood, not just reading, math. You get tired of the same thing. So I do a lot of life skills. We also have a responsibility list. So again, did you make your bed today?
Yeah.
Did you brush your teeth today? Did you wash your face? Did you finish your homework? The list can go on and on. And it's up to them. check it off. Riley's been doing this since January, and
Riley's my nephew, Deb.
Pardon?
Yes.
That's your nephew? Okay.
Riley is my nephew, my
Got it.
brother's son. Yeah.
So he earns money. I'm not going to start handing $5 over to these kids every week. I'll be really thrilled. But
That's
then
true.
I will find something in place of it. It might be $2, you know, if they get enough check marks. And again, it's things around the house is their job. Did you put any garbage in the garbage can today? But also the reading in the manners. So I
agree.
use that now with them.
No, I think that's really important because I know that a lot of teachers will comment, we're seeing a big lack of those type of skills in school.
Big time.
Yeah.
Basic manners, respect, for sure. I like the idea of the neighborhood thing. I was thinking about that too. We have an area here that we're always walking around and there's lots of trees. I don't know what the trees are called. I don't know what kind of trees they are. You see birds. I don't know what kind of birds they are. Like these are things that you can take the time to, I don't know, learn about. It doesn't have to be trees and birds because that's not interesting to everybody, but it is kind of eye-opening if you take a step away from like school stuff. There are so many things that we could be learning about, that we should be learning about around us. And we kind of have the time to do it now.
I had one extension idea to the what you mentioned with the Genius Hour is that depending on like skills and interests, they can even do like make their own YouTube video. It doesn't have to actually go up on YouTube, but even make like a how-to video. So if you're gonna learn a new skateboard trick or whatever, it's like a lot of the skills there with media literacy and learning how to communicate effectively through video can be like just a helpful tool for kids to gain. So
and to build confidence in public speaking, for sure. Good practice.
Yeah, even writing, because they can write the script, plan it out, lay it out. There's a lot of literacy skills, sequencing skills. And then Karen, I just had a question. Are your kids on Raz Kids at all? Have you heard of that? Yeah, you.
His teacher just brought it up. We're not on Raz Kids. We really have limited their screen time during this time. They're just much better behaved without the screen. They are on screen today because I had to do grocery shopping and Scott's working from home. So that's just a fact of life. But really, Teach Your Monster to Read and typing apps are the only things they're currently on. But yesterday, like, we used the TV and YouTube for like Circle Hour. And they like the idea of someone with a much nice, softer tone singing to them. And because I'm not a teacher. I am not an educator. I'm not good at this. I'm just kind of doing it because I'm a mom. But when you see the big smile and the nice high-pitched voice, like that they need that. So
it's engaging.
You can go sing with Melissa from the library, and that's fine with me. But 11 minutes, man, it's only 11 minutes. But what is Raz Kids?
So the reason I was asking is because Raz Kids is really good. I was just trying it out with Sommer's son today, and I've used it before in the class. And if your teacher's setting it up, that's awesome because he or she can set up like the exact level that your kids are at, and then they progress at their level and they win little stars every book that they read at their level.
Oh,
and
nice.
they can like move up to the next level. So, and also I can like check in on their reading, send them an assessment, they record it, and then I listen as a teacher to how they're reading and I can give feedback. It's not the same as in person, but it's good. So it's definitely like something to check out. That's why I wanted to ask you. If you weren't doing it, I would have added you to my account because like.
Actually, my girlfriend has added me to her account. Already, but we haven't. I don't want to inundate them with work. Especially knowing now that it's coming. So long as they're sitting around and focusing on something academic, and by that it could be cutting and pasting, I don't care. Just getting them into that routine of coming downstairs, 9 o'clock, we're going to do some work for 45 minutes.
That's what I find overwhelming is there's so many resources, so many things. It's like, okay, what should I just focus on? That's what.
Right. Like simplify it.
I do find some things it's very, like I'm looking for grade 1 and what I'm seeing, I thought, to me, that's too young for him. So you go up a level and it's over
That's
that
too
level.
challenging.
I'm not, again, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not impressed what I'm seeing. I'm doing my thing. I do my writing, my math. And again, my math is different how they're taught in school, but they're understanding it. And I'm showing it's an easier way, my opinion. I have one that
Okay.
I have one that is anxiety. He's already flipping out right now. So it's like you gotta be there to calm him down and guide him to get him back on track half the time.
Yeah, I think that's true with a lot of kids actually.
Mhm.
I like Rad's kids. I think Dana, you might actually enjoy that. So I'll send you some info. I don't know if you have that, but we can
No,
talk
but I'm
offline.
Mark, the middle one that has the anxiety, he does RAS for reading.
Okay. I think Riley would enjoy it too. Like, I think it's great. I was doing it with my son earlier. As I said, he's a very reluctant reader. He has been, and he's below grade level on his reading, but we were working through it a little bit today. We set his level lower than it is just so that he could build confidence. And he really likes this reward of, you know, getting a star and then getting to go use them to buy stuff. Like, it's no actual money is changing hands. So that's a positive.
Yes.
But they're also working to earn something. So back to, I think we were talking about the Genius Hour idea, Deb. I was thinking about this the other day, because I don't know if you have a Mac, you have iMovie, you probably have it on your phone too. It is a really cool tool, and they probably use it at school at some point. Like, I would challenge Ethan to make a movie of some kind, like pick a topic he's interested in. Even you can make a trailer. It doesn't have to be it's not a feature film, but it lets him play around with the technology, with editing, bringing in different sounds. Like, it's a pretty cool thing to do. And
what is it on? iMovie?
iMovie is the app. I know I have it on my computer here. I have it on my phone also. So if you have any videos, you can import them and you can like splice them together. You can do some editing, make a bit of a movie. So that's something that he might find engaging.
Oh, for sure.
Rather than just sitting in front of you guys and telling you a story. Oh yeah, if he has a GoPro and he's got a bike, I'm sure he can come up with some interesting footage to put together a movie. So we would like to see that movie when it's finished, please. Share that with us.
I wanted to share one thing in response to what Deb said about like being overwhelmed with resources, and just like, I feel like even coming into teaching, like I get so overwhelmed with resources every year, even like deciding like, what am I going to teach my class? Because they don't give you the curriculum, like day 1, do this, or even week 1, do this. It's all inquiry-based learning, learn what your students need and meet their needs. And so
get to know your students and then figure out what they each need individually.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was going to say 2 words that really helped me personally was just like professional judgment. Like I don't have to do what every other classroom is doing. You don't have to do what every other parent is doing. Like, you can just say like, what is the goal for my kid in this time? Like, what's going to actually help them? If they're low in reading, like help boost that up. If it's confidence, like, I don't know, like pick a couple goals and then look for resources specifically to meet those goals. Obviously, you're going to wait too for whatever your teacher puts out, but it's going to be very different. Like, some teachers are going to put out a ton of content. Some are not going to put out that much. Like, it's, I think at the end of the day, you just have to kind of free yourself from thinking that you now have to deliver this whole curriculum that they're missing, and just say like, what can he improve on? I don't know actually. What ages are your kids?
Ethan is grade 8, so that's what I'm concerned about, because he's going to high school. So I'm thinking, okay, the 2, at least math and English, obviously, I think need to be the focus, because I mean, we're doing different things. Like yesterday, I said, okay, look up a recipe. He wanted to make chicken, so fine. I mean, it was a gigantic mess, but he looked it up. He went on Chef Ramsay and he made it. So.
Were you able to find any chicken?
I did. I got to Costco and they had just filled it up. So I bought a giant package of chicken. Anyway, so that I'm trying to do something like that. But I am worried about like the high school entry. But I guess for everyone, there's going to be a bit of a challenge.
They're all going to be in the same boat.
Yeah.
Everybody is
Yeah.
missing the same amount of school right now. So
Exactly.
at least we're
Yeah.
all in the same situation.
Yeah.
I think that people need to not worry like what education am I providing my kids, because we're not actually homeschoolers. If you're a homeschooler, you are taking full responsibility for your child's education. This is like crisis schooling. This was nobody was prepared for this, right? We're just like thrown into it here. So everyone's doing the best they can. And think of it more, where can you fill in the gap with your own knowledge, rather than, okay, let's look at the grade 8 curriculum. Like, ooh, I don't even want to open that document. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. That's up to your son's teacher to figure out, you know, what they haven't maybe covered and what still needs to be addressed. But if you need help with math, like I have a cool site that I can add to, I can do this for anyone's kids. I can add them to, and I can send them sort of missions based on specific math areas they want to work on. Again, Karen, this is online. So if it's like a day that they want to do some work on their device and they want to do some math, it's kind of neat. Like both my kids are kind of enjoying that. I do it for some of my friends' kids too. I just send them a few questions today, and then I can see where they are having trouble, and then I can send them questions specific to that to work on. Because I know math always comes up as the one that people are worried about their kids missing, and they're worried about supporting because they have their own math anxiety, or you know, whatever you want to call it, going on about it. So I mean, I like Dana's approach too, where it's math that comes up in everyday life is kind of important. But also, if you're worried about, you know, curriculum stuff and what they'll need for next year, there's also resources for that. Again, filling in gaps, not completing their entire education yourself. I know they're focused on primarily my grade 2 kid. It's language, for him it's French and math, and that's all the teacher is providing. I said, okay, fine. And I know for my daughter, it's going to be science, social studies, language, and math, but language will be French and English. This will have a little bit more, but again, that's meant to be like maybe up to 2 hours a day, spread out through the day. Don't think like, okay, guys, now is your 1 hour block and your 1 hour block. Like, I don't think that's reasonable for a lot of us either. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. But I have a kid who's 12 and a kid who's like turning 8. So their attention span is a lot different. So I'm trying to make my life easier as well. Like, do I want to spend an hour with her and then an hour with him and then an hour with her? And it's like, no, I want to go work out. How do I structure the day so that everybody gets what they need, including myself? So I think you guys need to make sure that you guys take care of yourself too, make time for yourself, maintain sanity, happy mom, happy family.
Good job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, is there anything else specific that we could cover? Is there any specific resource? If any of you have a question about a specific resource or how to address a topic with your kid and I can help you, just send me a text or specific message and I'll send you the resources. But I will post a few on the Facebook page so that others.
Where is it on the Facebook page?
So I'm going to post it under in members, I think, wherever they posted this section. I'll just put a comment underneath, or I'll just start a new thread and just say, hey, here's some resources for parents, and then whoever's interested and couldn't come and chat with us today can access it. Does that make sense?
I'm super surprised not more people are on here, because I'm literally inundated all day long with, and I know nothing. I am not that person. I just seem like I'm that person because I post everything my children do.
Right. I think that's a good point too, because we see other people, what they're doing, and we think, oh my God, well, look what Karen's doing with her kids. Well, I'm failing because I didn't do any of those things. And so just like, well, you think like, okay, we can't worry about what other people are doing either, because like Karen has 2 kids who are very different from mine and even different from each other. So
if I didn't do this
for her,
they would be horrible. Like, they would not be happy. I would not be happy. I'd be yelling and screaming. They need to be busy.
Yeah.
Well, it is beautiful out, so a lot of people could be outside right now. That's where.
On that note, ladies, kids, they're waiting for me to, we do the beads where you put heat to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So they're waiting for me to press that. And,
Okay, go do it, Dana.
I'm still a wife, that I still have duties I have to do to my home and prepare dinner. And
Oh, what's that?
yeah,
like?
I'm sorry, they don't think of your regular routine and cook
I
meals.
know. You gotta feed these guys like every day, several times.
Several
It's like
times.
never ending. Never
Groundhog
ending.
Day.
Anyway, good. I'm glad we had the chat.
Thank
Ladies,
you.
keep it up, but you still have to have some time for yourself.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Kids are learning,
Expert grandma.
and what it messes up, have a beer, start all over tomorrow.
Exactly.
I like
that.
that. That works.
Okay,
Thanks,
ladies,
Dana.
Thanks, Hannah. Bye.
See ya.
All right, I have a kindy question.
Funny. Okay, go for
What
it.
question?
A kindy question.
Kindergarten.
Okay.
So, sorry, not kindy. Sorry, grade 2. I'm having trouble getting my son to write. He's challenged by it. It's not something that happens. I don't know if it's an organizing his thought thing in addition to poor writing. So I made a suggestion.
Uh-oh.
You're frozen.
No.
No.
Look at that face.
I know.
Somebody screenshot that.
Okay. Awful. No, she's like really frozen. I don't know what happened.
Oh, there. You're good now.
Okay,
Full
you're
question.
back. You're froze in the best picture.
You guys are all
I've ever
It was a
seen.
great picture. You're like,
That was awesome.
Just some ideas of how I can. It doesn't have to be. He doesn't need to be excited about it. Just not that it's. I don't want it to be torture for him.
I think for me, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is rather than saying, okay, now it's time to write, whatever it is that you want him to write about, whatever the topic is, definitely have him talk about it. Because if you can talk about something, you can write about it.
Okay.
So even if, you make this over the span of 1 week, where the first day we come up with some ideas, then we start to talk about, how the story might unfold, and then we work towards writing later. That might be better, because I think we get, like, I know personally, I get really impatient when I'm like, okay, guys, like, I want you to do this. This is it. Just do it. Come on, just write it. And they're like, eh. And sometimes kids take different amounts of time to process different things, but I know that if they can talk about it, then they have something to work with for the writing. Like, writer's block is a thing. And if I had to, you said, okay, go write a paragraph right now about whatever, I'd be like, oh, okay, I don't even know where to start. What would be a good opening line? I'd get overwhelmed. But if it's a topic like right now, after we've all talked, later you said, could you just summarize what we talked about? Sure, absolutely I could, because I've been talking about it. So I've already organized it in my mind. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Writing is never the first thing. It's like listening, speaking, reading, writing. It's sort of like an order of how skills develop. So if that makes sense to you, what's that?
That makes so much sense. That's
okay. Yeah.
See,
so that's
logic for you. It's not for me.
That's my 2 cents on that. What do you, Andrea? Were you going to throw in something there?
sure, I would agree. Like for kindergarten, we always say like, think it, say it, write it. Like that's the simplified kinder version. But I think too, you want to focus on what part of writing do you want to like help him with. Like if it's generating ideas about a topic, then spend a lot of time with that, right? Like thinking about what he could write about, or you could even use like an organizer to help him plan something out. So like one that I use for story writing, I just divide a paper into like 3 parts and do like BME, again, it's kindergarten. So for beginning, they have to choose like characters and setting, and you could just do just that for day 1. It's like just the characters, just the setting. And then like in the middle, help them come up with like a problem that could happen in the story with those characters and that setting. And it can be pictures for drawing it out. And you can even like help him, like, I don't know, like with that, and then transfer it to like a book or something. Also, like I was thinking sometimes there's like writing prompts that you can get, like give him a bunch of different topics or ideas, or like prompts. I don't know. What is his reluctance? Like what kinds of writing have you tried so far?
Well, he writes letters to us all. It's ASD. He's very repetitive, right?
Okay.
So we do get a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. He recently did a Captain Underpants book with his friend, which was just I don't know where that came from, but it was awesome. But he doesn't like drawing. He doesn't like coloring. He does like, I'm sure a lot of that is a fine motor thing.
Does he have a special interest? Like if he's on the spectrum, a lot of students have like certain interests or things. Like what are like his topics that he likes, or if he could spend his time doing anything, what would it be primarily?
I think riding on his bike or going skiing or going camping.
Physical activity.
Yeah, anything gross motor and outside.
Yeah.
Well,
So
then that's probably a good starting point for what he should be writing about.
like
Something that's of greatest interest to him.
what he did. So it's
Like me.
I hope you don't get hurt like me. Aw.
That's really cute.
and
And
then
there's other ways of like, when we think about writing, we always think about like writing a story or writing a retell, like things that are kind of overwhelming. Writing is a postcard. Writing is a birthday card. Writing is, a menu. If I had a steak restaurant in my house, what would I want to be on it? Like it can be random things if you just want to get him writing and kind of excited about that, like the process. Don't worry about what the final product is going to be or how much he has to write. Just find little things that might be engaging. Like I know you have, is your mom somewhere that you go visit? Is that your mom or Scott's mom?
yeah, my mom.
Okay, so like writing letters or writing a postcard might be something that could be a good starting point for him. Like, let's talk about what we did today. Okay, well, what do we want to tell Nana or Grandma about? Okay, like let's write it down, and you could make a postcard or find one somewhere. Just an idea. I just think that we get caught up in writing is going to be, if you're older, it's like essays and paragraphs, and if you're little, you have to write a story and you have to draw pictures. That's not always true.
Another thing is you could take pictures of him doing his activities like riding a bike or things that he likes, and then he could write under that. So a lot of kids like that if they see it,
like that. Yeah.
and then write under it. And then you can just
he hates
do that
drawing. And we have these stupid books, right? Like these ones where there's the picture area.
Yeah.
And so it's torture for both because he doesn't like to draw and he doesn't like to write. So
but teachers love those books. We always give those out to younger kids and go, oh yeah, it's so fun. You're going to draw pictures and write about it. And half the kids for sure are just hating life when they have to draw a picture.
That gives me like PTSD when I see those books, man.
Really?
Holy cow.
Bought like 8 of them.
But if you don't want to take pictures of him specifically, another thing I do with kids is like, if they're into dinosaurs, we'll go on my laptop and I'll say, okay, what dinosaurs do you like here? What dinosaur do you want to learn about? They choose it, we print it off, and then we just put that picture. So it can even be just choosing pictures online of something that he likes. Like you can do a Google image search and print it off, and it's pretty quick.
That's cool. He's more like, he's a very empathetic child. Like he wants it to be about, like he would want to talk about something about his sister or something. Like he's like a really loving
human kid. Story. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So why doesn't he do a story about his sister, and you can talk about what they did and take pictures of their day? That sounds like
I love that. Thank you. See, this is why.
There you go. Worth the price of entry here. One person gets one idea, then it's totally worthwhile.
It's worth it.
The balloon idea was amazing, Summer. Like
honestly, that was like I got like 3 weeks of phys ed classes out of balloons. Honestly, all I had to do was sit in my office one day and blow up balloons. I'm like, woohoo, phys ed covered.
Like hours of entertainment. It's
good. I'm glad. Okay, Dad, do you have something to take away that you think we could work with?
Yeah, I like the idea of the Genius Hour, the whole the independent study and the movie. And because he has a GoPro, I'm totally gonna give that a go.
And Karen, you have something?
Yep. Raz Kids and the writing assignment is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good, I'm
it's
glad.
Like
well, if you have any other questions at any time, just shoot me a line, or Andrea is an expert and so much more patient than me. on everything relating to young children.
Yeah.
I have an inappropriate
No, I love
video
it.
to send Andrea about my son's reading. It's hilarious.
Oh.
Well, we like hilarious and inappropriate.
I don't
That's
have
like
your
my
phone
favorite
number,
thing.
Yeah.
All righty. Well,
Oh,
thank
thank
you,
you.
ladies.
Nice
And
to
Dana,
chat.
she's like hilarious. That's my brother's
She's
mother-in-law,
fun.
who
So is she babysitting all those
too
kids?
funny. Well, she looks after my nephew because my brother and sister-in-law are still working.
Okay.
And her neighbors also are like young parents and they have to work. I'm not even sure what they do. So she looks after them all for them. So,
Wow.
She's
yeah.
pretty, she seems
She is
fun.
a riot. She
Yeah.
is hilarious, actually, but she also has some good ideas.
Got it together, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. But she's a grandma, so there's like a different level of like tolerance
Probably.
and understanding.
I keep thinking maybe I'll be fun as a grandma because I'm not really a fun mom. Just kind of
I'm
I
mean.
know
not a
fun
fun
mom.
mom.
I'm
They're-
mean.
I'm not a fun mom.
Nobody's fun.
Moms are
You're
Fun, go
meanest.
talk to daddy.
thing.
Yeah.
Daddy's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, my husband is like super fun dad for a few minutes, gets everyone riled, and then goes back to work, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh well. All right,
Oh,
thanks, girls. I will
bye.
talk to
Bye,
you
ladies.
guys
Get outside.
soon. Have a good one.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Okay, guys.